primarily, we would like the selectmen to, the town of Wakefield, to write a letter supporting us requesting the canal and bridge to be placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Something that we've talked about for years. I have talked to the SHPO office, the State Historic Preservation Office in Concord about this, because we've got 4 issues or 4 situations. We have the bridge is partly owned by Wakefield, partly owned by Acton. So we need to have Acton's approval, which the Acton people have already gone to their selectmen and have that. Their meeting was before your meeting. And we need to have the support of Wakefield. We also, if we want to put the canal on the register, we'd like to do the canal and the bridge together. We need to have the state of New Hampshire supporting it and the state of Maine supporting it. A letter went from the New Hampshire Historical Division of Historical Resources to Washington to find out if we could qualify for this, because Acton is not a CLG community, and that's what we're doing it under with CLG grant money. It will not cost us a penny. And the reply came back from the Park Service that we can do it. The State of Maine's Preservation Office also is in favor of it, and that we could do it, and that we would be a national example of 2 towns and 2 states working together to preserve a historic site. So what I need, all I need is a letter of support from the town of Wakefield. If we don't get the 2 states together in time for the grant application, we'll go with just getting the bridge on the National Register.
So the letter should say for both?
It should be,
Supporting
well,
the
it would
canal
be,
and bridge go on the National
it
Register?
would be great to have the support of the whole area, yes. And I have other groups who have already given me letters for that. But the owners of the site per se have to be in favor as well. And the owner of the bridge, the owners are Wakefield and Acton. The owners of the canal, the land surrounding the canal, is the state of Maine and the state of New Hampshire. Now, so a letter saying you'd be in favor of both would be great. The one that they're most concerned about is as an owner of the bridge, but also in support of the rest. I've also spoken with Jim Gallagher, who's the chief engineer from the DES, and emails, and also emails with Mark Stevens, who is the land agent, and they're both very interested in what we're doing. They have not told, we haven't had personal conversations at this point, but we're trying to set that up so that I can get their letters of support as well. And it may, I don't know how many layers we have to go through at the state level, but we've started it on an email. They're very interested, and they think, and I have emails that say they both think the sites are worth preserving.
Do they remain usable?
Oh yeah, when you put it in the National Register, all that does, it's an honorific status. It says that the property is is significant enough in historically to be preserved.
The only limitation it does, to be totally honest in my view, is just like with this building, when you put it on that, it restricts how you maintain it.
That's not correct.
It's not?
No, it
Well,
isn't.
this building it is, it's not a historic register,
No,
right?
you're talking about something different.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There really is no restriction. Even on this building, there is no restriction. If you do not want to follow the national, the standards, then it would just be taken off the National Register.
Right, that's
So
what I'm
you
saying,
have
you can't be
no-
on there and,
But there's no, as far as the canal, the bridge is concerned, the only thing that's going to be called in, and it's already, if you want to do any work on the bridge, and that's one of the things we're working on, trying to facilitate between the 2 towns, it would call in 106 review, but it's already that would be called forward already, because the canal and the bridge has already been determined the National Register eligible. So whether it goes on the National Register or not, because there's a FEMA report that was done several years ago that says it's eligible for status. It would invoke the 106, Section 106 review.
And I wasn't trying to be negative about that.
No,
I
but
just thought that was
it's
one
a
of the
little
contingency.
different.
Okay.
It's a little different. Certainly with the town hall, we want to keep it on the National Register. And so we're concerned about doing things, if it was worthy of preservation and worthy of being recognized, we want to keep it
Exactly.
in that same state. And it wouldn't matter with the bridge anyway. That 106 review was already invoked because it's been determined by studies that were done before that it's eligible.
Well, if this needs a motion, I don't want to take any wind out of these sails because I think it's going in the right direction myself, so I'd make the motion for both.
Is there a second?
I'll make the second.
This won't prohibit us to throw another deck on top of the bridge out of concrete and steel?
Well, no, it's already there is what I'm saying. That 106 review,
Yeah.
Section 106, if you look it up, is invoked just because it's been considered, and there's reports in Concord that it qualifies for National Register eligibility. So as an example, because I asked this question last year, and Teresa and I were talking about this last fall, the North Wakefield Bridge, the old farms that was done, they didn't, because you didn't take any state or federal money, the 106 review was never called forward. What that does is you would have to determine that there was was there historic impact there, et cetera, et cetera. And because you didn't take any state funds, you did it, all the work was done within the town, even though it would have been nice to have a review of that, because it is, what's lost is lost. It's gone. The old granite slabs and the type of architecture that was there is no longer there because it's been covered with cement. But we didn't do that because it wasn't qualified. You already have to do that on the canal bridge.
So you can't just do a simple
Well, that's probably up
town
there.
fix or whatever to it.
You
You have to do whatever it says under the 106 because it's
It
already.
would, you have to allow that review, such as on 16 when each of these, anytime they come in to change a road, they always send a letter to Conservation, Heritage Commission, I don't know what other entities in town, asking us, are there any issues here that you see with historic sites, conservation, cemeteries, all of that gets called in anyway. What I understand is likely to be the best way to repair that bridge and preserve is to do an overlay so that it comes way beyond the very edges, so you're dispersing the weight. And that's what the conversations were I had a couple of years ago with the Bridge Bureau, Bridge Department in Concord, whatever they were called, I forget, it was a female, what's her name?
The entrance to the canal is, well, not the canal, but the boat launch. I'm trying to visualize this, the distance. Would there be enough room to bridge over that bridge and still meet that intersection there? Okay, because I'm forgetting the distance.
You authorized us to meet with Acton and talk about ways of expediting getting that bridge repaired and doing it in historically correct ways. And we've had 4 meetings. In fact, there's a huge group in Acton now that's really working with us on it. And they are going to, I believe, they're going to determine that their road agent, they don't call it a road agent, what do they call it? Who is now, he's now employed in Wakefield, right, is going to be the person, like the head person to talk with from that committee. He's gonna be their head liaison for the steering committee, and until somebody else steps up to the plate on the one for Wakefield. So it's really great to be working together with these 2 communities, and because that's not really the only place, that's a primary place that we have some issues where we need to work together. And I think some of the damage that has been caused there over the years has been because we didn't work Some work was done on the Wakefield side, some other work was done on the Acton side, and we want to preserve the whole thing.
It's worth it too.
It is. And I would love to have both states agree and get the whole area on both sides preserved. That's part of a long-range plan that the Heritage Commission has.
Well, the other thing that's important too is that's a major part of the infrastructure for bridging these two communities. I mean, you know, instead of driving all the way around the whole lake, you cut right across. And
Yeah. In conversations we've had though, some of our truckers, a few truckers are on that committee, probably never going to be able to put those heavy trucks across there. But it just isn't probably feasible.
cost effective.
But that's another issue that really is not related to you voting on sending this letter. There've been other groups that have already given me a letter, but the primary, what I need is the owners.
So this letter just tells her that we support her
It
continuing.
It tells the Park Service that yes, we want this, we would like to have our property placed on the National Register of Historic Places.
Worst comes to worst, we do what we want and they take it off the register,
Right.
that's what you're saying.
Well, I mentioned that, and I mean, right now, we've got cooperation between the two communities, thanks to Pam, and what's going on, and I think that, as I said, we don't want to take the wind out of this sail, let's keep it going. We've been waiting 3 or 4 years now for this bridge to get repaired, and the sooner the better.
This isn't really getting it repaired.
No, but it's on the way.
One step,
Halfway.
you know, it's a step to say it's really important, and it's bringing a lot of, if we were a national example, do you think that would bring some primary attention to Maine and New Hampshire to get some work done there?
Yeah.
I mean, it can't do any harm.
They did Kittery Portsmouth Bridge, I knocked it down.
This is going to cost a lot less.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I also heard this past week that the town of Acton is looking into pursuing CLG status. So not only have, you know, we're going to be we've preserved and qualified for a number of things here in Wakefield, but now our sister neighboring community is going forward and, you know, basically because they've seen what Wakefield's been able to do.
Oh, our long-lost cousin now becomes our sister.
Motion made and seconded, more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Can you just let us know who to write it to?
I will.
Okay.
Great job.
Write it for us and...
I have to write the grant.
Mrs. Cheever with the Earth Day update at the transfer station. Public comment, one. No. Mr. Brown.
The Bruins game is on, so if we can limit the following items to 3 minutes, we can be out of here in 33 minutes. Thank you.
New business. Safe routes to school.
That's me. I have a startup grant application here. The committee has been meeting since November, just about every other month or so. And we've decided on a few items that we would like to see happen in town. I don't know if you all know about the Safe Routes to School grant and everything, but I'll give you a little bit of background. It's 100% funding grant eventually, once we get the travel plan going, to provide sidewalks in town, or crosswalks, crossing guards, signs, all that kind of stuff. The beginning step is to do the startup grant, and that's what I'm presenting tonight, and it's a grant in an amount of $44,990.
90 or 70?
Actually, it got changed, it got changed to 90.
All right.
And what changed on what I sent you, yeah, sorry. Judy and I have talked about this, Judy's on the committee with me. What changed is under the evaluation. We put $20 in there, feeling that after everything is done that we would like to do with this grant money, we probably should do a follow-up teacher-student survey to get an idea of how everybody likes once everything is implemented, how they like it. So we figured a $20 cost for that.
Yep.
So, I don't know if y'all had time to read this, but It's basically, a couple of the items that we want to do is painting the crosswalks that we currently have, providing some helmets to kids that don't have bicycle helmets, maybe do a bike rodeo at the school in the springs, incentives to kids if they walk to school or bike to school. The big one is to put up a new solar speed zone when you actually turn on to Forest Street.
Yeah.
If they did a speed count, traffic study, and found out that, yeah, everybody does the speed limit right on Main Street, but as soon as you make that turn, they speed up to like 30 miles an hour, and then they're cruising right into Martin Lane. So we thought that if you could get, what they want to get is a solar one, so there'll be an electricity bill.
Yeah.
And more signage, more school zone signage.
And it's 100% grant?
It is 100% funding grant, and because it still falls under that RSA 3195B, which you have to state that in the minutes that you're accepting it underneath that, and as long as it's on the agenda, we don't have to do the public hearing.
Yeah, just a motion.
Yeah.
Teresa, is there any, the grant is 100% for the initiation
For
of the
the initial
project.
part, and
But then the
for the
maintaining
other.
upkeep of crosswalks and sidewalks and what have you is the town's expense
Yeah.
after that. Is there a contract with the government that says that we have to maintain these for X amount of years, or is it just a?
Not with this, I don't believe it's anything with the startup money. I don't know, Judy, do you remember them? I don't remember us
I don't
talking
believe there's
about.
anything with the startup.
Not with
We're
the
not
startup.
doing any construction
Construction.
of sidewalks right now.
Once you do, the travel plan has been written by, Stratford Regional Planning is helping us with this. She's written up the travel plan that the committee is going to review again. And, you know, if you submit that and you get the full funding for that, there may be some more strings attached to that at that point.
Is there a motion for 4990?
So made.
I'll second it. Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Thank you. I can just
Thank
have
you.
you, I'll sign.
Capital reserve expenditures, none. Correspondence, we've gotten some correspondence from an attorney talking about the after-hours use at the beach and the skate park. Have we sent that to Parks and Rec yet, the letter?
He has seen both of them, yeah.
Has that made it to the Parks and Rec committee to talk about it at a meeting yet, or?
No, we've discussed it, knowing it,
Kevin?
going.
We did give some ideas for the skate park. One of the ideas is to fence in the whole area and just have one entrance going in. And so it's this, you know, specific, and that was one of the things in the letter was saying that they roam all over. So that was one of their ideas to do that.
I'd say that Parks and Rec kick this around the next meeting, come back with some notes to us, what they plan to do to rectify this, between signage and the fencing and stuff like that, and address this. If they want to have the police work with them after hours to make sure that there, or whether we don't have to take any action with it.
I mean, I don't know the answer to this, but why isn't it not thought of to put right behind the department itself? I mean, is there?
The skateboard park?
Yeah. I mean, it would be supervised at a constant basis.
Where, behind the public safety building, behind Parks
Just
and
right
Rec?
behind, I mean, I'd keep it kind of out of the railroad style, but I mean, to the backside of that thing, to where we used to cross as kids to go out into Forest Hills.
I wouldn't want it there myself, just because of the historic value, and that's like Central Park over there, you got your trees, you got your vegetation, a lot of things that could be.
But you get a basketball court.
You know what, we also have a tennis court down in Forest Hills nobody uses.
Do we know that?
I thought we did,
Yeah, we do.
Do we?
and that would make a nice skateboard park, it's already fenced in.
So,
So they're playing tennis, they could be doing something.
that's why I said, send Parks and Rec the 2 letters, have them address it
Have
at
them
their
address it
meeting.
at your next meeting, maybe they can give some
thoughts to it,
Thoughts.
and we'll take care of that.
Okay.
Did you guys have any more on that? Or that Parks and Rec kicking around?
Like I said, I think it's a good idea, Ken.
Everything from cameras, putting cameras up, to entrances.
Now, if you're maintaining a schedule where they're gonna be, show a presence there as well as this.
Yeah. Use it or lose it. Public comment number 2? Ralph?
I'll let Robbie go first.
Yeah, I want to know if you accepted the names I brought in for Teresa for the Ag Commission.
Can I speak?
Yep, please.
When you brought it in, Robbie, I wasn't here.
Yeah, I realized
I
that.
didn't have a phone number to call you, and the reason being is that when the article was approved, it was approved for the commission shall consist of 3 members and 2 alternates. And I had a lot of names here, and I didn't know who you specifically wanted, and you don't have to have a planning board member, and you don't have to have a selectman.
Oh, right, because
When
I
I
thought
looked
that was one of the
Yeah, when I
requirements
looked
that
up-
had to be. I thought it was, okay.
No, when I looked up the RSA, you must have resident, people have to be of a resident, may also serve, people can serve on other municipal boards and commissions. Oh, one commission member may be a member of the local governing body. One commission member may be a member of the planning board, so it's just a maybe. So it doesn't have, it's not a shall or anything like that. So if you,
Do I need to
Why don't you-
resubmit the names again?
well, why don't we do this? Why don't I take your phone number? And I'm
Okay.
out for the next couple days, but I'll give you a call first part of next week, and then we can just talk it over the phone on who you want to be the 3 members and 2 alternates.
Okay,
All right?
Okay.
What's your, no, get your phone number afterwards.
okay.
Time's that game start, Steve?
7:30.
00. Thank you.
Ralph, will you?
I'm going to request that the Channel 3 PEG channel have the schedule of events, times and dates that they're being aired. Folks still call me about that, and Teresa said I could find it on the website, but I haven't been able to find it on the website.
Well, because I sent it to Jerry to look at, and then he left on vacation.
Okay.
So I did talk to him about it, and I asked him if that schedule was the correct schedule, and I haven't gotten the information back. So I haven't put it on the website, because I don't want it to be the wrong schedule.
We should give them a tab on the website and see if they can do that for.
Well, the problem with the website is a lot of people that have talked to me don't have internet. They watch the Channel 3, and they expect to be able to see Channel 3, know when things are being aired. And they call me because they think that I'll be down here raising heck. I have seen a petition asking the selectmen, and some of the folks signing that ask the question, do I have to sign my name and address? Because they're a little bit nervous about being in the public. They're complaining about things and what it leads to. So
Ralph had brought this to my attention, and I did ask him that if people have concerns, the proper protocol is to come to me or call me or something, so that I can write down who it is that also has issues.
So should the petition go forward, or,
What
I mean,
petition?
there's a petition that just asks the selectmen to put on the PEG channel the dates and times of public meetings being aired, the schedule of events.
I don't think we
Sure,
should
yeah.
I don't think that should be a petition, that should just
I
be a
wouldn't think so
request.
either, but
That should be something that should be on there.
If you're requesting that, the board can decide right now. That
Yeah.
should be on the page channel.
Yeah, I got no problem with having
So
lots
it's
of
a
events on
schedule.
the page, that's what it's there for.
Yeah.
I know that the former cable advisory board had adopted that procedure, but
They
it
have
just
had
fell on the
problems.
wayside.
They have had problems with some of the electronic equipment, though, from my understanding.
Well, they do, yeah, but the schedule can be put up there in the alpha form that everything else is being put up in that, so. Like I said, the past couple weeks, Valerie's been gone and Jerry's been gone, so,
I did talk to Val about it, she said she hasn't got a whole lot of experience with the alpha check.
yeah, she doesn't, yeah.
I did offer Jerry some help last time I had seen him, but could say yea or nay.
Well, as soon as I can reach him, I'll get the information, make sure that the schedule's correct, and we'll get it up on the website, and I'll ask him if the schedule's correct, and the board wants it up on the pay channel, get it up on the pay channel.
And I'll offer you folks something.
Thanks. Liaison reports.
Mine were done this evening. Dan was here, Fred was here, Ken was here.
The only thing that I did, I went to the school board and we listened to a presentation from the cafe services. I guess the school board is looking to have somebody outside service the lunches and.
Advertise.
Yeah, and the people that came, it seemed like a very good presentation. They brought food and Steve Brown was excited.
Good.
Hot and cold plates, and I would assume it didn't really matter at that point. Healthy choices, I don't even think that mattered, but they brought plenty of samples. There was a few concerned people there a little bit, and there wasn't so much about the choices or nothing. I think it was just people in the positions of losing their job, but they may, what I understand, the services hire out their part, the same thing, they just take care of it and the school doesn't have to. So, seemed like a nice idea. It was a great presentation by all means. In the Parks and Rec, I went to, we had an interview day. We had four or five interviews on Monday to fill camp counseling. They were all very good, and I think they've got that under control pretty much.
How many are they looking for, 2?
It could be 2 or 3 depending on how many people sign up for it. It's a wash by all means. It's not costing the taxpayers any money. It's just they want to hire someone that they feel will be pretty much good with the kids and be able to.
A lot of them stay there throughout the year.
And then come back next year, you know. We have 4 more next week, 4 or 5 more applicants to look at. They're all been very good so far, so it's going to be hard choosing. I went to the ZBA and there wasn't one. There was a CPR course. It was one of many CPR courses that were going on, but I just happened to sit in and listen. They had a full house. It was a very good turnout, so I will give them an A for greatness on that. They had a great turnout. There was over 16 people sitting in here learning CPR. I hung out for that, considering I was down here anyway for the ZBA. So.
Did you get certified?
No, once they started saying that there was a test involved, I felt I wasn't quite qualified. So I get up and excuse myself during testing.
On the kitchen stuff at the school, those employees that you had mentioned that were concerned about their job, my understanding was when I was on the board that they were all going to be offered positions and they could accept those positions.
I don't know, and I don't even know if they were concerned. That wasn't really what they said. They were just, I could see that the kitchen help was there, so my assumption would be they were just looking to see where their jobs were going and...
Yeah, I thought they were going to train them and
I
everything.
think that was a couple of things mentioned was that they do hire out their positions and they may give them the first opportunity. But after that, I didn't, there was really nothing.
No, I just wanted to make sure, because I remember when I sat on there, the original concept was that
I was talk
the employees would be given
That would be
opportunity to get certified and become part of the team, and they would be receiving benefits and stuff through that company.
I know the food looked good. I didn't see anything wrong, and he gave a great presentation.
I wish I didn't get off the board yet.
He was quite prepared, and like I said, Steve was ready.
Selectmen's letter of appreciation.
I got a thing with that. I think it's a great thing that they do, but my personal opinion is it seems like we're looking for people just to throw out an appreciation and not bringing it up when it's needed. It seems like you've got a list of 100 people that we've given them out, to, and I'm sure they all are quite qualified and great and thankful that you're great to have them, give it to them. But it just seems like you're looking for someone to fill it each month, and